Hello everyone, welcome to One by One, a podcast where we uncover the stories, strategies and secrets behind extraordinary success. I'm your podcast host, Robert Murigi, and we'll be building each other from the ground up. Subscribe now and never miss an episode from us. On our today's podcast, we are going to look into yet another mechanical proverb that says, if you're in doubt, bang it out. This might look controversial when you think about it, but let us look into it. Let us dissect it and see exactly what it means. At first, this might sound a little bit rough because it looks a little bit counterproductive. We don't understand exactly what is this banging out. Are we talking about rather to do it right each and every day? We are talking about productivity, creativity. We are talking about the pragmatic approach that you would use to tackle the issues that you have each and every day. This speaks volume on the things that we do, because when you are working with your hearts, and I'm talking mostly when we talk about the tradespeople, the people who normally use their hearts to earn living each and every day. What are we talking about? We have problem solving, we have strategies, and we have challenges that we are facing in our jobs. And let us look at this thing of bang it out. Picture this, a very stubborn problem that you have with your workplace, and it's not cooperating at all. What are we going to do about this? And I think at this point, we will only have two choices. You either give up or you approach it in a different way. And sometimes a very strong work might help it so that it can cooperate and come undone. And sometimes a firm hit or a strategic work might work wonders in that problem that you're facing each and every day. At this point, you might have tried textbooks, you might have tried other methods that used to be used in that particular problem, but it may not have worked. What do we do? Without really confusing ourselves and overcomplicating this saying or this proverb, let us look a little bit further and we see what it means. Are we talking about being assertive? When you have that problem, what is this proverb teaching us today, which is just beyond bolts and nuts? We are going to see how well you can use this also on other problems. We are being encouraged here that when you have a challenge, it is good to take action. How are you going to take this action when you have a challenge? It means that you must have thought about it on how you can resolve that particular problem. And therefore, rather than overanalyzing a problem or hesitating, it is good to make that decisive move so that you can keep moving forward, so that you don't become stagnant. And when you look at this, how many times have we had issues in our lives and we have gone there, we have overanalyzed those problems, and sometimes we have a solution with us, but we over-hesitate, we doubt our abilities, and we doubt what we can do. This can bring the confusion. This mostly would happen in our careers or in our relationship or even that project that you want to do. When you start over-analyzing instead of just putting time on it and putting right thoughts on it so that it can bring you good feedback or it can bring you good fruits. Well, let us talk about how we do it in mechanics. What is this proverb trying to teach us? What are we supposed to do? Can-do attitude can really work very well. You take one spanner with one hand and you go with a can-do attitude. You approach that problem, most likely you find a solution. Because sometimes we overanalyze and we might say that we are overreacting, but sometimes it doesn't work like that. You might be required in some situations to analyze the situation, check the risk, and also check the tools that you have to see whether it can help you to solve that problem. If that's not the case, with a can-do attitude at one hand and a tool which is required or a hammer on the other hand, you can easily break that problem and you're able to move forward in your life. We have talked about try and error in the past. Let us see, what are we going to do here? Sometimes when you're faced with that issue or a problem, the approach you have used in the past may not work at this time. So what do? We have to adapt ourselves and we have to grow so that we are able to see the problem from the right perspective. And therefore, when you are faced with a unique problem, what can we do with this problem so that we are able to come out of it without making a mess? The best thing we can do, and the only good way, is to be persistent. Persistence sometimes can work wonders if you have done your homework in the right way. Why? Because in mechanics, we know very well that not all size fit all solutions. And when we talk about in mechanics, we talk about 3 strike rules. And this is where you try twice and you have failed, and you try one more time. What are we doing here? We are getting all the lessons in. We are learning more stuff. We are knowing how well, if we become flexible from this side, how well can we fix this issue. If we become persistent in trying that one thing that we are trying, we learn more and more things that are happening, that are helping us to open more ways on how to resolve that kind of a problem even in the future. And therefore, when you're trying the second time and you're trying the third time, give it a different approach. Try something different. Don't try the same methods that have failed you the first time and the second time. Try a different way, so that sometimes when we are doing the steering on one of the tracks that I work on, there is sometimes you sit in the wrong way and you can never put those nuts. But once you sit in the right angle, it is so easy that you wonder why you stayed down there for too long. And therefore, a different perspective sometimes can work wonders. On this kind of a proverb, how can we apply this in our lives? Instead of, if it's at work, you're trying that project, or it's in your relationship, you're trying that thing, it's not working. Why can't you just pull back and get some fresh air? Think about what that problem involves so that you're able to have the right approach to the same. The other thing which could work is instead of endlessly complaining about a particular thing, just take action. Do something and do it right so that you are able to resolve that problem once and for all. When we talk about bang it out, we are not trying to be reckless. We are not trying to be careless here, but we are trying to say using your ability to the maximum, following or listening to your instincts, talking to someone about that thing that is giving you problems. All these ways are when we talk about bang it out. Knowing when to act is also very important. It's also part of that. When do you act when you are faced with a particular problem? How do you do it? Do you just run over there and you make more mess than you had before? Or you take your time and rethink about the consequences that may follow because of your actions? How do you do this? We take time and we trust our instincts and we trust our abilities and we use them in the proper way. And when we work in the workshops or in mechanical environments, it's also good to be very careful and make sure we use all the manuals, we use all the documentation. It is good to be careful and have the right approach. Measure all the things that you want to do. Don't just do things and then in the future they start coming after you. And therefore, just to To wind up this, we are being reminded that if it's that project you're doing at home, or if that job that you're doing each and every day, or you're working in your own business, it is always good when don't fear to get your hands dirty. Get there and do it. And for sure, you're going to get the results. Always remember this motto, that when you're in doubt, bang it out. God bless you. And whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned professional, or simply someone looking for inspiration, One by One will equip you with the tools and insights you need to lay the foundation for your own success story. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment. Your feedback helps us to grow and bring you even more inspiring stories. Thank you for listening to the Building from the Ground Up. Remember, every great accomplishment starts with one single step. What will you build today? Until next time, keep building, keep striving, and keep reaching for your dreams.